My name is Tracy Wise, and I'm going to be talking to you about my assessment that I did for Gage Billy, my target student for elementary. Billy is in first grade now. His ETR that I had was when he transitioned from preschool to kindergarten. And in his file, there really wasn't anything other than like one observation and a kindergarten grade card. So there really wasn't too much information about how he did academically through kindergarten. But on that grade card, it did show like his number recognition letters, recognition sounds, counting, all that was still extremely low. So looking through his ETR and comparing it to the kindergarten year and talking to his first grade teacher, which we've only been in school for a couple weeks now, she agreed that this is where she was going to start too and really just get that baseline level. So for his assessments, I'll do his reading first. In his evaluation, his reading scores were all extremely low. All in like the 1 or 2 percentile. It was, he had struggled with letter recognition, letter sounds, putting sounds together to make words, looking at familiar words. So what I decided to do was just a baseline. So I have, I did letter recognition for upper, and then I also did lower. I folded them in half. He got half of these at a time, and part of the sheet was covered, so he wasn't overwhelmed by looking at all of it. We did do this in 2 sessions in one day, so he got one in the morning and one in the afternoon of his day, so he wasn't too overwhelmed. As you can see here, for the lowercase letters, he did get 21 out of 26, and then for the uppercase, he got 20 out of 26. And for this to score it on the rubric, at the bottom part of the rubric right here, it's literally just broken into beginning steps, nearing expectations, meets expectations, and exceeds expectations. So for the letters, he meets the expectation for what he should be doing in first grade. He can recognize most of the letters. There are still a few we would like as a typical student to know all of them, but as a special ed student, he is meeting the expectation. He knows most of the letters on recognition. Now, if you see down here at the bottom, I just went through the uppercase letters before I circled them all. We did this in a morning class, just him and I, and that's all he did that day. I did have him do the letter sounds, and as you can see, he got 0. So on the rubric, that does not meet our expectation. So that was at a beginning step. And even in the beginning step, I put that he could make a few sounds, and he wasn't even able to do that. So I did mark and document that there was just 0 sounds. But he didn't make any sounds. And I don't think it's because he didn't want to. He kept making sounds, but they weren't the correct ones, and then he got frustrated and just didn't want to do it anymore. And even trying to go back to it later, he still didn't want to do it anymore. So then for writing, I gave him an example in the classroom because I felt that as a typical student, they get the alphabet wall, the line in the room they can look and use. And then most special ed students have either something closer on their desk they can use, some sort of visual. And in his IEP, it says that he should get a visual to help him remember. So I did give him that visual, and I scored it just if it was legible. So, like you can clearly tell, this is an A. We don't know what that is. That's a C. That looks like an O, and so on and so forth. So if he could copy that uppercase letter down, then if it has a line above it, he's got that point, and that's where he got 11. Now, this lowercase one, he did get 7 out of 26. He also was given a model that did show, and I should mention, just the uppercase or just the lowercase. It was not the dual pair where you see like the upper and lower together, because I find that can be very confusing. So it's just the lowercase. So if it has the line above, he got that, and out of here he got 7. Most of these are in his name. So like the A, the E, and the G, those are all in his name. O is pretty simple. For some reason, he really likes M, S, and so on. So the writing of these with his 11 and 7, if we go to our chart here, he can write 9 uppercase letters. So he was able to do 11. So he's right in that middle of nearing expectation to meet. And then over here for the lowercase, it said that he could write the lowercase letters in his name or 9, and he was at 7. So he's really close to that nearing expectation. So he, unfortunately at this point though, he still has that beginning. Like he can only do the lowercase letters in his name. So on to math. Math was documented as another one of his weakest areas. He struggles with basic math skills. So recognizing numbers, even 0 to 10, not even the basic 0 to 20, like the end of a kindergarten standard. He struggles with quantity. How much is 3? What is 3? Recognizing numbers, counting 1 to 20, 1 to 1 counting, 1 to 20, and writing the numbers. So I just did a basic sheet that was given to him in sections. This was given over one day in 2 parts, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And this was just recognizing numbers. Now up here it does say have him count, but I'll cover that up right now because that's not what we did right away. So we have the recognizing numbers. So as you can see, I wrote if he didn't know it, or if he said a different number, or if he did know it, it's circled. So for number recognition, he did only get 3 out of 20. And for math, I did the same sort of rubric. And it's upside down, sorry. That it is beginning level steps. I put that he could recognize numbers 0 to 10, and he only got 3. So I did modify the rubric to do I can read some numbers. That way he did score in the beginning steps, because if I did not do that for all of math, I would have needed to add a 0 column. That shows that was just not even, he didn't even meet the lowest expectation. So to show him on this rubric, he did get I can read some numbers 0 to 10. So he's still at that beginning expectations. Now the other half of the day, we did writing numbers. He was also given a model because most students have a number line in the room. So I figured it's nothing different than a typical student should get. And like I said with special ed, a lot of them have it on their desk. It's much closer. They have that manipulative to move around. Okay, this is what a 1 looks like. This is what I need to write. So we did this, and he was given a model. And as you can see, I scored it just like I did the letters. If it was legible and I knew what it was. So this is a 1. That looks like a squiggle line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So if I could tell what it was, he got that as a number, because even in first grade, their numbers aren't going to be written perfectly, but I need to know that that is what he was attempting. So then yesterday morning, we counted. That's all we did. We just 1, 2, 3 in the morning counted. He got to 11 and then skipped back to 10, and then he started rambling about like 7, 8, 6, 5, 12, 20, and he was just getting a little confused. So he got into 11 and 10. So if we go to the rubric, he is able to count. I can count some numbers up to 20. So in hindsight, in the future, I should have made this probably 10. And now actually doing the evaluation and seeing how low he truly is, I probably should have did 5, 10, 15, 20 instead of that 20, 50, 100, and then higher then. That way he would have had some opportunities to show more growth in some areas. So he did still get that beginning expectation. Now, later on in the day, we completed quantity. So this was given to him as a half sheet. And basically he was just told, what is 3? How many circles do I need to put on this paper for 3? And he told me how many, and he even wrote them. And he was so excited because he loves to draw, and this was like his favorite thing. So as you can see, if he had the right amount, then he got it right. And the only one he got the right amount on was 1. Other than that, he just got excited and he started drawing a lot of circles everywhere. So that also put him in the beginning steps of that. The addition at this point, when I was in my assessment, I was like, I don't think this is going to go very well, so just tell me the numbers. He couldn't tell me a lot of the numbers, and then when he did, he wanted to just write a number that was already in the problem for the answer. So for the addition, he got 0 out of 0, which put him at the beginning steps that he can say the numbers, which he could say a couple of them, but not very many, and he just wanted to. So really a lot of help with this one. So his letter recognition is definitely his strength, for sure. Very, very strong. His math is definitely still his biggest weakness, and I think in the classroom they're going to do a lot of more hands-on and more of the fun activities and games to kind of get those brain waves flowing for the math early learning skills. I feel that the assessment gave me a lot more current data than the ETR because the ETR was from preschool to kindergarten. It's been a whole year and a half almost since when they did the ETR, so I really feel like I got a better idea of what he can do in that baseline. And I definitely wish that his folder had some more kindergarten information in it and just kept a little bit more information current. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So I had that gap of kindergarten, like what intervention-wise, all of that. But I think overall, he gave it his best, and he did his best, and he tried, and he enjoyed doing it the entire time. He didn't fight me when it was just paper pencil. He loved when I added like blocks or manipulatives. So I think overall he's going to be a real joy to work with, and I'm super excited that I got to do it with him.